Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And yes, I still have not shaven. However, we have some cool, juicy crypto news that needs to be covered. Like, for example, this stuff regarding Ripple/XRP. Ripple lawsuit. Jeremy Hogan speaks on expectations regarding these summary judgment briefings. Now, for all of you that do not know, we've been talking like crazy over on Twitter and in these YouTube videos about this next day for the Ripple lawsuit that's, well, about a week away right now. And it's literally this right here. Motions for summary judgment and Rule 56.1 statements of undisputed facts must be filed by September 13th. Now, you guys can probably understand why that's so important, right? It's the next big step in the lawsuit. And so Jeremy Hogan had some stuff to say about it. Well, actually, at first, a Dingo Ate My XRP, nice name, actually had a pretty interesting story. Early in the Ripple v. SEC case, Judge Netburn decided internal memos were relevant. These are just messages that have been sent internally. Memos about how the SEC chose at that point to treat Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, and what factors drove their thinking. Why? Scienter. In part, if SEC didn't know XRP was a security, neither could Brad and Chris. To make sure we didn't have it wrong, let's read these two legal definitions. Knowledge of the nature of one's act or omission, or of the nature of something in one's possession that is often a necessary element of an offense. Quote, the scienter element constitutionally required for an obscenity statute, or intent to engage in particular, especially criminal conduct. And here, a mental state in fraud as securities fraud that is characterized by an intent to deceive, manipulate, or defraud. That indeed does fit quite well. That indeed makes it quite relevant. But things go deeper than the individual defendants here. I believe Netburn expected the SEC to argue that XRP and Ethereum differed in fundamental ways. That's why the documents would be especially relevant, since of course they stated Ethereum was not a security. But the Hinman affidavit turned the story on its head. Just imagine a judge asking for documents that help the SEC explain why they treated Ethereum so differently, only to get the response that they didn't. The argument she assumed would be a key theory of the case is now gone. Netburn knew the assets would have to be compared. In the absence of clear regulation, she believed the Hinman speech would be their guiding light, and then they just pretended that didn't happen. I think it speaks to both the arrogance of the SEC and the severe short-sightedness in this case. The judge handed them an opportunity to use prior decision-making to beef up their flimsy argument, but instead they just replied saying, no thanks. Mind you, however, that the judge has already seen all these emails, right? As far as I know, she reads everything and it's just redacted towards us. Then again, there's a critical part, and that is that it might not be able to be used in court. So even though she's seen something, I don't believe that means that it's actually usable or making something more winnable for Ripple's side, for example. The way I think about it is, let's say, for example, that Brad Garlinghouse, this is just my own thoughts, right? I'm not a lawyer, not a financial advisor, nothing like that. I'm just thinking here. If Brad Garlinghouse, for example, told his lawyer, hey, I really don't think this XRP thing is a smart thing for us to invest into or do something like that. Well, because he told his lawyer, and that's, trusted information, even though in theory, the judge might have read that for some strange reason, they still can't use it. Well, at least that's as far as I understood about it, right? Because of the attorney-client privilege. Then again, I'm not 1,000% sure that she's seen everything, but I'm thinking she has, and it's just not usable. But taking a look back at the article, expectations in the Ripple litigation are still in place as the much-anticipated start of the summary judgment briefings approaches now. XRP-friendly attorney Jeremy is not left without expectations either, as he took to Twitter to highlight one key thing he hopes to see in the summary judgment briefings. Quote, the extent Ripple makes the comparison between XRP and Ethereum, end quote. One thing I'm interested to see soon in the summary judgment briefings is to what extent Ripple makes the comparison between XRP and Ethereum. Again, because of what a Dingo Ate My XRP said, and what Ripple's mostly going to discuss the moment that they get it is either how XRP and Ethereum are not so different, which could be either how they pick and chose winners in this game or anything along those lines. It's going to be very interesting to see that come up. Again, following Jeremy Hogan's own words, the cards will be in the table. I thought on the table, but all right. And if you're wondering, when settlement? When will we finally be done? Well, in theory, right, it can last for a very long time. You never know for real when it's going to end. If we take a look at a couple of other lawyers, they've said, like James Fillon, I believe he stated he thought it was going to last till here, like March 31st, 2023, or at least will be over by that point. The decisions will be made. However, if we're taking a look at this, responding to a Twitter user on the likely time frame for settlement on this case, Hogan predicts that the most likely settlement time frame is from now until the end of November because the cards will be on the table. And if you're wondering what the next part in this lawsuit are going to be, we actually covered this a couple times before for all of you that do not know, but it's right here, all right? The next part is going to be September 13th, motions for summary judgment, response to that October 18th, and then a response to that November 15th. And then again, James Fillon says these decisions will most likely be answered or made, sort of, by March 31st. So it's going to take a little while then. Then again, we're coming to a close, you know? These are phases that we're going through, and we're going through the ranks, you know, so it's good. Having said that, this was very interesting. Russia to consider possible legalization of cryptos for cross-border payments. And then afterwards, we got this article. Bank of Russia agrees to legalize crypto for cross-border payments. Historically opposed to the idea of using crypto as a payment method, the Bank of Russia has reportedly agreed to allow cross-border payments in crypto due to geopolitical changes. Yeah, and I immediately was screaming in my head, XRP, just thinking about the idea. Yeah, so there's a couple of hooks and whatever's to it. Deputy Finance Minister Alexei reportedly said that the Bank of Russia and the Finance Ministry expect to legitimize cross-border payments in crypto soon, which again, I think of XRP necessarily. It is necessary to do this in Russia involving entities supervised by the central bank, which are obliged to comply with AML and KYC. Bank of Russia subsequently clarified that this is still opposed to legalizing crypto payments within the industry, despite giving the green light to cross-border payments. Quote, it is important to emphasize that we are not talking about the legalization of crypto as a means of payment, which is interesting, on the territory of our country, the central bank said in a statement to the local news agency. If you're wondering why they were so negative towards crypto, they had a, I'm not sure if you guys could hear that. I was actually getting called, and now my camera is slow. So I guess we'll go to the different camera method. As you guys probably noticed, you know, there's this one has no, like, it has a different whatever, doesn't matter. Point being, Russia went for some negative crypto thoughts. I believe mostly because they just wanted indeed the ruble to be the number one and crypto was a threat. But now they're thinking like, hey, for cross-border payments, kind of doesn't matter anyway. So let's go for it. Let's get this crypto ball rolling because we might need it. Bank of Russia Governor Laser suggested that crypto can be used for cross-border payments, but only if crypto doesn't get into Russia's domestic financial system. And that's actually a very smart approach to things. They also, however, recognize that the situation has changed. He added that the planned infrastructure is too rigid for the use of crypto in cross-border settlements, which we certainly must legalize somehow, he concluded. So, yeah, I was just thinking XRP straight at the bat. I don't know fully how they're going to be utilizing this, as I've not read all the reports themselves. I've just read these articles on the matter. I just got kind of excited, even though I don't know too much about it, I guess. But I think it's also just fun to let you guys in on this little update, even though we can't elaborate on it too much. And there was a video by Mark Yusko from Morgan Creek. He basically was asked, do you hold any XRP? He said, well, I don't, but, and he then went to comment on it, and it was kind of nothing, to be honest with you, you know, kind of a big nothing burger. So you can read what he says. He shares his opinion, says he's not an owner, and it does have to do with centralization. He does not expand on it too much. Also speaks on the indexes launched with Bitwise and why XRP and XLM weren't included. In my opinion, he does not elaborate on that so much. The criteria of the S&P 500 have to be certain size, enough free flows, and it can't be centrally controlled. Makes comparison to Tesla and why it wasn't in the S&P, because too much was owned by Elon. Owned the top 10 crypto minus what had 50% owned by one entity, XPXLM. I have admiration for the supporters. I need to do more learning and listening. Every investor I know started skeptical of crypto broadly, and then they did the work. Then they became a believer and supporter. To dismiss something out of the hand because you don't like the founder is wrong. So what can you do with this information? Nothing, to be honest with you. I just thought it was interesting to mention. DAI also had some thoughts about the matter, by the way. He said, hi, Mark. I saw the video where you said you guys didn't invest into XRP or XLM because of centralized ownership. Why did you not question the centralization of ETH? They disguised the whale's purchases at the ICO. Have you looked into this for your investors? Video below. All roads lead to the large buyers were in the Ethereum ICO. Who were the whales that wanted to disguise their ETH purchases? Because people were hiding it. But I don't have time to show you guys this 2-minute video right now. And again, as I also stated before to you guys over on the show here, Dai is like a freaking beast finding information. Then again, we already knew he was not going to get an answer from this question. As far as I've read, he has not gotten an answer and will never get one. If he did, let me know. But I checked Mark Yusko's Twitter and I couldn't find it. So I'm assuming that it is not the case. Then again, that was for today's video. So just a couple of updates I think is pretty cool regarding Ripple/XRP. And yeah, I got some other cool stuff coming out later today. If you've not checked out my giveaway yet, though, make sure you go ahead and check it out. $10,000, giving it away tomorrow or the day after. I might extend it by a couple of hours, depending on how this falls. Maybe it falls in the nighttime. I don't know exactly, because I kind of want to be there when the timer stops, you know. So I'm going to put it somewhere in the afternoon, maybe. But yeah, tomorrow or the day after, we will be done with our giveaway. So make sure you join it right now, as the last couple of hours are in. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today, guys. See you guys later.